In today's society, fewer and fewer young people are concerned with being responsible citizens. Being responsible can range from paying your taxes to serving in the military. Our subject, however, has chosen to establish his personal sense of duty in a different and unique way. Keith Hackelman, age 23, works at Red's Indoor Range, a 100-yard indoor shooting range here in Austin, Texas. He uses his job as a consumer educator and his personal interest in firearms to be a responsible citizen whose passion has unexpectedly launched him into caring more about politics. His responsibility doesn't end when he teaches people about proper and legal gun use, but rather extends to his involvement as a young person who wants to be responsible in politics by voting on issues that affect his everyday life and livelihood, especially his future. Now, I understand that you have a CHL. Could you please explain what that is and how you got one?
CHL is Concealed Handgun License. It's a class in which you have to go through, put on by Texas Department of Public Safety. They mandate a minimum of 10 hours of classroom time, a shooting test, and a written test. And basically you go through the same shooting test that law enforcement has to go through in order for them to carry their firearm. And then you go through the same background check that local law enforcement goes through as well. In the extent of the class, they also tell you when to shoot, how to shoot, what happens if you do shoot, and things of that nature.
Could you please explain briefly what is your understanding of the Second Amendment? And what does it mean to you?
The Second Amendment to me is my legal right as being a citizen of the United States of owning guns, whether in sporting acts or in self-defense.
And so you feel that it's your responsibility to protect this right, correct?
Yes.
As I'm sure you're aware of, guns often go hand in hand not only with the law but with politics as well. Could you explain a little bit about why the last presidential election meant so much to you as a gun owner and as a citizen?
Well, a lot of politicians have a problem realizing that if they instruct harsher gun control laws, all that it does is take the guns away from the respectable citizens. It doesn't take the guns away from the bad guys. The laws don't prohibit the bad guys from owning guns. It's just the law-abiding citizens.
So, can you tell me a little bit about your motivations for voting at all? Why did you go and vote if you're not considered to be a typically political person? What made you go?
Well, voting is pretty much one of the only ways you can voice your opinion, and if you don't vote, you really don't have any reason of complaint afterwards, whether the voting went your way or not.
So even if things didn't turn out to be your way, voting is still your means of showing that you're being responsible.
Yes.
So besides educating and assisting people of all ages at your place of employment, I hear you are also becoming involved in a program that allows you to reach out to children and teenagers. Tell me a little bit more about what this is. What is the program? What do you do?
The program is Operation Orphan Hunters. Basically, we take kids from ages about 6 to 17 hunting on managed game ranches all across Texas and just take them out in the outdoors. It's a lot like the Big Brother, Big Sister program, but on a smaller scale.
Okay, so you act more or less as a mentor. Not only do you teach them how to hunt, but you teach them about personal issues and things that mean things to you, correct?
Yes. Teach them that, we're lucky as a whole to be able to go out here and do this, especially being in Texas, having lots of public land, but then, there's no telling what's going to happen in 5 or 10 years, whether we'll still be able to do this.
Besides that, do you think that, getting an opportunity to work one-on-one with these kids at such a young age, do you think that prepares them for when they step into your shoes and when they're 20-something and they have a chance to vote? Do you think that your interaction with them will help them know what to do and why to vote on things like this in the future?
Yes, I do. There's one thing about children. They remember the smallest, most minute things if they're the most important to them. And if you can teach them gun control and gun safety and the importance of having them and being able to use them at a younger age, it's one of the things that'll stick with them throughout the rest of their adult lives.
Okay, so not only that, but the importance of voting as well then because of these other things.
Yes.
So their passion, like yours, can turn into something that they're going to want to protect by exercising their rights and being responsible too, like you, right?
Correct.
I know that you once had aspirations of being in the military, which is often the typical way that a young person is thought to be a responsible citizen. What changed this as a career path for you?
I had 2 catastrophic knee injuries and kind of lost any chance of doing what I really wanted to do in the military.
So, what are you doing that takes your passion for that kind of life and guns and that sort of thing, and like, what have you chosen to do?
Next, I'm going to the largest gunsmith school in the United States, and I want to build custom bolt rifles for an affordable price for more or less the everyday guy on the market.
Why is the Second Amendment so important to this next endeavor, to your business that you want to do?
It's my inalienable right, and not having it would cripple my industry.
So do you have any examples of anything in particular of why it's such an important obligation to protect the Second Amendment?
Well, like with all the home invasions we've been having lately, one that stands out more than the rest is the one that happened in San Marcos, where the three assailants broke into a home at 2 o'clock in the morning, or late one night, and the residents of the house had guns and were able to diffuse the situation and protect themselves and their family members with firearms.
So how does something like the San Marcos incident have to do with you and protecting your life and your rights?
If we didn't have the Second Amendment in the first place, or if we lose the Second Amendment, it gives us no chance of protecting ourselves or our loved ones. If we lose the Second Amendment, it's not going to take the guns away from the bad guys, it takes the guns away from respectable citizens.